Hello students, in this lecture I am going to teach you about global warming. In order to understand global warming, you have to understand the carbon cycle first. Let me tell you what's carbon cycle. The atmosphere contains 0.03% of carbon dioxide, and that represents a very huge reservoir of carbon which is continually being removed and formed, and it is also returned to the atmosphere by a number of processes. If the atmosphere is to maintain a constant amount of carbon dioxide, then the rate that carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere must be balanced by the rate that the gas is returned into the atmosphere. So we need to balance out the rate of release of carbon dioxide to the rate of consumption of carbon dioxide. So carbon cycle is basically the mechanism that maintains the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Always remember this thing. So how it is going to maintain the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? So in order to maintain this mechanism, we have to see that how carbon dioxide is added to the atmosphere and then how it will be removed from the atmosphere. So for the addition of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, there are two processes: respiration and combustion. What is respiration? All the living things respire. It's a very common thing. Respiration converts glucose, which is present inside the food. It is converted into carbon dioxide and water. Glucose is converted into carbon dioxide and water. And energy will be also released during the respiration process. So what are the products of the reaction? See, glucose, formula of glucose. In the respiration process, oxygen is taken in, will be converted into carbon dioxide plus water molecule plus energy. So see what will happen. Carbon dioxide will be given off. So it will be given or it will be added to the atmosphere. So this is a way of adding carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. The second process is combustion. In combustion of fuel, what happens? Most fuels such as coal, petroleum and natural gas, which is methane, contain both carbon and hydrogen in them. So when these fuels are burnt, carbon dioxide and water are again produced because these are the products of combustion of any kind. Whenever there is combustion, there will be production of water and carbon dioxide, its effect. So the equation for the combustion of natural gas, which contains mainly methane, can be written in this form. Methane will be burnt and it will be converted into carbon dioxide plus water will be given off along with energy. So again, see, carbon dioxide is given off, it is added into the atmosphere. The third method, another method is also there to add carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which is decay and bacterial decomposition. Now, what is bacterial decomposition and decay? So, as the dead animals and plants, they decay. So, what will happen? The bacteria break down the carbon compounds which are present inside them, because decomposition of animals and plants, they start after some time after the death of them. So, carbon dioxide is produced in this process. So, carbon dioxide is again added into the atmosphere. So, these are different ways by which carbon dioxide is given into the atmosphere. So, now let's have a look at the different processes by which the carbon dioxide will be removed from the atmosphere. So, carbon dioxide is removed by the atmosphere by two main processes: photosynthesis and ocean uptake. In photosynthesis, all the green plants, they convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose and oxygen in the presence of sunlight. So the equation for photosynthesis is 6 carbon molecules will react with 6 water molecules, and as a result there will be glucose and there will be production of oxygen. So this is how what will happen now. This carbon dioxide molecule is consumed by the green plant during the photosynthesis. So this is how it will be removed from the atmosphere. And the second method is ocean uptake. Now, how carbon will be removed by ocean uptake? The world's ocean serve as a very massive sink that traps carbon dioxide into it. Much of the dissolved carbon dioxide in the ocean is used by the plants and animals which are present in the water. So mainly it is used by the marine plants and animals. How it will be used? Let's suppose the plants which are present in the water. So what they will do? Obviously they will be having photosynthesis in order to produce their food. So by that photosynthesis again they consume carbon dioxide and then they will produce their food. But the animals, marine organisms which are present inside the water or which are under the water, they are most of the time they are having very hard shells and skeletons. So how those shells and skeletons are produced? The calcium carbonates are present over there. So carbon dioxide will be used in order to convert them into calcium carbonate to form very rigid shells and skeletons of marine organism. So over the time those shells and skeletons of dead organism they settle and they will also make a seabed to form limestone. So the carbon dioxide is used in the composition of that seabed and that is further eventually producing limestone. So this is how carbon dioxide will be removed from the atmosphere by these two processes. So carbon cycle is very important to maintain the mechanism of removal and release of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which is very important. Here question arises that how this carbon cycle or release of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is causing global warming. What is global warming? Global warming is basically, globe is earth, warming is the heat. So it is the increase of earth's average temperature due to buildup of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. And we know that carbon dioxide is one of the major greenhouse gases into it. So global warming is caused by all those greenhouse gases. What is global warming? What are its consequences? And why is this earth overheating? So these all are the questions, and scientists are continuously working on them. Scientists are concerned why that this earth is overheating, what activities are related to that. So all those anthropogenic activities which involve burning of fossil fuel and large scale cutting down of the forests are major cause of release of greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide. So when carbon dioxide is released as a greenhouse gas, it means that the mechanism of balancing down the release and the absorption of carbon dioxide is disturbed. So that will be added to the atmosphere at a higher rate than the photosynthesis or ocean uptake. So it can't be removed. So an excess amount of this gas will lead to global warming. What are the effects of global warming? If we do not act to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases, so definitely we won't be able to control on the average increase of heat of the earth. So in order to control the average temperature of the earth, which could be at a minimum rate, we have to take some measures for that. But what can be its adverse effects? More occurrence of unusual weather conditions occur due to global warming, such as a very warm spell, or there would be droughts, unexpected storms will be there, hurricanes will be there, flood will be there, tsunami will be there, and much more. Secondly, a decrease in crops yield worldwide because the area that are currently covered by vegetation may become deserts. And third is the melting of large quantities of ice in the North Pole and the South Pole. So this will cause ocean level to rise and flood low-lying countries such as the Netherlands. They will be destroyed totally. Next is the rapid evaporation of water from the Earth's surface. As a result, carbon dioxide dissolved in the ocean will be released into the atmosphere, and this will further add to the greenhouse effect, because the oceans are acting as carbon sinks, because they trap carbon inside them. Carbon is partially dissolved into it, so it will be trapped by the water molecules. But as a result of global warming, it is also given to the atmosphere and causes global warming. So we have to take very important and serious measures to control the over and excessive emission of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So if we will talk about greenhouse effect, first of all, you need to understand that what is greenhouse effect. Carbon dioxide and water vapors have important roles to play in maintaining a very fairly and uniform temperature on the Earth's surface. So these gases allow the visible radiations from the sun to reach the Earth's surface. What happens? Those rays will get trapped, some of them, by the gases which are called as greenhouse gases. What are greenhouse gases? Carbon dioxide, methane, we are having ozone, and many more. So gases that trap radiation are called as greenhouse gases. An example is carbon dioxide, which absorbs infrared radiation or IR radiations, and thus reduces the amount of heat energy which is escaping into the space back, right? So carbon dioxide is not the only greenhouse gas, we are aware of it. We are having methane, we are having ozone, we are having nitrous oxide. These are very, very strong infrared trappers, gas trappers. So they just trap the rays and they don't allow them go back to the space. So as a result, the natural greenhouse effect is crucial for maintaining the proper temperature needed to sustain life on the Earth. Without these greenhouse gases, the Earth's surface temperature would be around minus 40 degrees centigrade and it would be permanently covered with ice. So we also need greenhouse gases. But the extra or excessive emission of these greenhouse gases is leading to the global warming. First thing is, if you will look at this diagram, so in this picture you can see that solar radiations are passing through the atmosphere. So they are passing through, this is the layer of the atmosphere and they are passing through the atmosphere. Some radiations are reflected by the atmosphere into space. See, these are reflected back. Here you can see these are reflected back into the space. Solar radiations warm the Earth's surface, but some infrared radiations rise from the surface and they escape into the space. They are going back to the space. And greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, they are trapping the heat and they warm up the Earth's surface. So here, whenever there will be presence of any such greenhouse gas, that would trap it, that radiation, solar any radiations, and they won't allow them go back, reflect back. So as a result, the temperature of the Earth is increasing due to the presence of these gases, and we need to control the emission of these greenhouse gases by opting some measures, such as we have to use such means of transportation which are environment friendly, which are releasing less amount of nitrous oxide and sulfur dioxide, and we have to take all those fuels which are green fuels, which are environmental friendly fuels, which are releasing less number of carbon dioxides and other pollutants in the atmosphere. So thank you so very much.